Yes! Alrighty! What's up, everybody? My peeps. What's going on, you sexy bitches? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here, for a Tuesday evening video, right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, and subscribe right now to this channel and my other channels as well. All the links are down below in the gobbledygook, otherwise known as my pants, otherwise known as the description box below. Do it now, because if you don't do it, you suck. Leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos from this channel or any one of my other channels as well. Don't leave stupid comments. You get sent to the Shadow Realm and Ozzy and Satan will just come out and beat you up and eat your soul. And that's that. And why does Ozzy have to be in the conversation? Well, he is the Prince of Darkness after all. But I digress. But they'll come out and kick your ass, eat your soul, and that's it. So if you don't like it, don't do it. Share the video all over the internet. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell to turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because if you miss anything, you need to get slapped violently with a barbed wire exploding bat. Because you're SOL, I think we all know what that means by now. If you don't know what it means, so you got problems. And that's that. And if you're brand new here, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, grab the cold one, and enjoy the show. If you like it, great, kiss my ass, Mahoney. And that's pretty much it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday night. You know what that means. We got NXT coming up in a little bit. It is also Taco Tuesday, and don't forget, Taco Cat, not Otaku, but Taco Cat, spelled backwards, is still Taco Cat. So, we get that. But it is Taco Tuesday, Tuesday night, NXT coming up. Gonna be a great show. We'll talk about that probably later or tomorrow. And that's that. Hope you had a great day. A little cooler here in the Northeast. Did have a great day, but I was in a lot of pain. Work and everything, the weather gets to me sometimes, and, I get fucked up. But at least I got through the day and did what I had to do, and then now I'm gonna relax and enjoy some wrestling, some NXT, and then I'm gonna watch a movie, have my sister with dinner, and then go to bed because I got a busy day tomorrow. So pretty much the next couple of weeks are gonna be busy. This week, definitely next week, because I got a lot of doctor appointments next week. I got a party to go to next weekend, and we got 4 pay-per-views next weekend. It's gonna be insane. And then after that, it's July 4th weekend, and I'm gonna be away pretty much Saturday and Sunday, so I will not be around. So for all you people that want me to leave, I'll be off about 2 days. So I'll be off for most of the weekend. I will be doing videos on July 3rd, but after that, we'll not be doing a video till probably Monday. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And we move on with that. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, everything I'm going to tell you right now is going to be said right now. What happened to then? You missed it, dude. But when will it be now? Soon. Can you wait? Soon. So now will be soon. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your Monday night raw thoughts, you understand? Thoughts. Alright. Monday Night Raw thoughts for last night, June the 15th, 2026, as we are rolling on to Night of Champions, the King and Queen of the Ring Tournament Finals, and a whole lot more. So, basically, we got 3 shows left till Night of Champions. Alright, so we got the semifinals pretty much all set up. Most of them are all set up, except for, the finals are almost set up. But we got all the semifinals ready to go. We got more on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later. Alright, so we are emanating from the CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. That's around otaku country. He didn't go there, but it is what it is. And our commentary team, a little bit different this week since Michael Cole took the day off. We have Joe Tessitore and Corey Slave. Where we get that? Alright, so we start off with a recap of last week where Solo Mibuki hit Eli Drake with the Samoan Spike. And then Will Hobbs, Royce Keys covered him. And then Jey Uso comes off the top with a Superfly Splash. And then basically covered him 1, 2, 3 to advance to the semifinals, where he will face Javon Evans this Friday night on the program. So we got that. Alright, then not one, but 2 black SUVs come into the parking lot. Who could come out of those cars? Well, we got the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. And also our Tribal Chief. Put up your ones, ladies and gentlemen, for the man, the World Heavyweight Champion, your Tribal Chief and mine, Roman Reigns, comes in, gets his belt from Lard. Or it's Lars, maybe it's Lars. Lars? Is that Lars? I don't think it's that Lars. Hey, James, I'm going to give you a title, and then we're going to play rock and roll. You know, we're going to play it so hard tonight, it's going to be tripping out your nose, James. Ain't that right? Yeah! No, not that Lars. A different Lars who gives them the belt every time. But anyway, they go to the ring, big reaction, OTC chants, this and that, praises himself, praises his cousins, Jimmy, main event Jey Uso, and Jimmy, and Jacob, blah, blah, blah. And then, before that he says, Baltimore! Acknowledge me! And what does Baltimore do? They acknowledge the Tribal Chief, and you should too. So Roman's like, life is good. I'm blessed to be in the ring with these, my cousins and everything. We have a lot to be grateful for. He talks about Jay moving up to the next level. And then we all know what's going to happen. He's going to take the King of the Ring. He's going to win King of the Ring. Beat Cody. Become the Undisputed Champion. We get that. So Roman's like, acknowledge main event Jey Uso. And it was like, yeet. So we do the yeet dance. And then Roman's like, oh, you guys are pretty smart. A lot of people who try to pick holes and piss me off, saying that I favor Jay, and I don't have anything good to say about Jim. But as the twins have always said, day one-ish, all the way back to the beginning, and if it wasn't for Big Jim, there wouldn't be a right-hand man, and if it wasn't for Big Jim, there wouldn't be a Tribal Chief, and if it wasn't for Big Jim, there would be no Bloodline. So, please acknowledge Big Jim. Jim's like, yeah, I'm great. So they do, and then the crowd starts chanting for Jacob, and Jay gets the mic and thinks he's all big and bad. It's like, I love him, he appreciates the love, mentions one person you haven't acknowledged, that's, The Rock. Dwayne. Fuck Dwayne. We don't need to acknowledge Dwayne. Dwayne's a piece of shit. Anyway, that person doesn't listen and needs to acknowledge them. Jacob glances at Jay, gives him a side-eye. And then Roman's like, do we have a problem here? Yeah, Jay is not feeling pretty oozy. If you know, you know. Jay hasn't felt oozy in 3 years. I'm just saying. So, Roman asks Jacob do you want to acknowledge the twins? So Jacob rips the mic away from Roman. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Jacob, be nice now. So crowd's still chanting for Jacob. Jacob says, when it comes to the twins, do you think I'd listen to them? Hell no! Hell no! I only acknowledge my OTC, and that's you, Roman Reigns. And he gives the mic back to Roman. Roman's all pleased. He says, good, we don't need yes men around here. Ooh, that's a little diss to the Usos. So then he's like, Lord! And then Lars, whatever, gives him a box. He opens the box, and it's an Ula Fala, but not the Ula Fala Roman wears. It's like a brown Ula Fala. And he says, people are terrified of the bloodline. Wow, you should be. The bloodline is forever. Talks about the Wild Samoans, running the territories. That was the bloodline. Yokozuna becoming the heavyweight champion back in the 90s. That was the bloodline. With Rikishi dancing his ass off with Too Cool. That was the bloodline. Umaga. That was the bloodline. When the Usos became the greatest tag team to ever live. That was the bloodline. So everything is the bloodline. When the Tribal Chief was born, that's the bloodline. And when my kids and your kids tag up in 20 years, that's going to be the bloodline. So everything is the bloodline right now in WWE and wrestling. So it says, Jacob, you call yourself an outsider, but now you're on the inside now. Welcome to the family business and welcome to the bloodline. Puts the Ula Father around him. Jacob's like, yes, I love you, Roman! When you said that, but you thought he was going to say it. But anyway. So he gets the Ula Fala. Roman puts his one to the sky. Jacob does the same. Eventually, Jimmy does the same. And then Jay kind of sort of stopped for a second, but he falls in line, puts up the ones, and there you go. That's it. The bloodline gets a new, pretty much is at full strength now with Jacob. Jimmy and Jay, you have to fall in line a little bit. Now Roman's like, this is like, I think, I know everybody's going to call it the Bloodline 2.0. I don't even give a shit. I call it great TV. That's what I call it. And Roman is great TV. And that's that. So we move on with that. Alright, then Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves goes to the show. Michael Cole has the night off. And then we see the Bloodline going up the ramp. They run into Eric Andre, a actor-comedian. He shakes hands with Roman. Jay doesn't even give him a fist pump. Jimmy kind of fist pumps him. And then Eric Andre slaps Jacob in the back and touches the Ula Fala. And Jacob did not like that. Pulled Eric Andre over the barricade, slams him on the floor. Then he throws him in the ring and beats the fuck out of him. And then, Adam Pearce and agents and referees are coming like, stop, this is a freaking guess, what are you doing? And Roman's like, whoa, Jacob, calm down. Calm down. And then Adam Pearce like, get him down. Tell him to get down. So Roman's like, you want him to get down? You want him to get down? Okay. And he's like, Jacob! Get him! And he goes up top, the fans are going completely berserk, hits a Superfly splash on Eric Andre, destroyed his ribcage. Even though he kind of no-sold it. So Roman's like smiling and everything. So they go to leave, and Roman stops, and he goes, do it again! So Jacob goes back in the ring, he goes up top, big splash on Eric Andre again, destroyed him this time, put him in the hospital. I loved it. That was great. That was epic. And then Roman gets his title, says, if you want it, you can get it. Basically, it says, anybody, if you want to push us, we're gonna kick your ass. Don't cross the prophecy, don't cross the bloodline. That was nice. Great segment. I loved it. And then after that, we get 6,000 fucking replays, which is great. That's that. Alright, then we get to the Queen of the Ring semifinals on the first part. We got Io! My girl Io, my third wife Io, taking on Raquel Rodriguez. Comes out by herself. Good match. Io got dumped on the announce table, face first. Ow! But that's that. And we move on. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. We get to the end. Raquel gets Io in the ring after the beatdown on the floor. Goes for a slingshot corkscrew elbow. Io moves, bounces Raquel's head off the top of the ring post. Ow. Then she hits a sunset flip powerbomb. What's scraped by Io? Goes to the top, hits the over the moon. So 1, 2, 3. She goes to the finals where she will take on either Liv Morgan or Charlotte Flair, become the queen of the ring. And I think it's going to be Liv on Friday night. Or next week, I think. But we'll see. Alright, then we find out Charlotte's going to take on Roxanne Perez. We got Chad Gable taking on Rusev. And Oba will take on Dom to see who goes to the finals in the men's tournament. So we got that. Alright, then we go backstage. Speaking of Liv Morgan, the greatest women's champion of all time. Because she's trouble, that's me. Cherry lips and nah. Say it once, say it twice, and I'll give it to you all night. Yeah. Liv, you can give it to me all night, twice on Sunday. But anyway, Liv's in the back, talking to Roxanne Perez. Roxanne assures Liv that she's going to beat Charlotte Flair, and she won't be 100% for their match on Friday. So, Liv thanks her, and then goes into Mr. Danhausen. I will curse you. His lab, Danhausen's in the man now. You know, he got pretty much money. He got Matt Cardona's watch. Matt Cardona's like, hey, can you uncurse me? Nope. Can I have my watch back? No. So then Liv, tries to flirt with Mr. Danhausen, trying to put a curse on Oba so Dom can win. But Mr. Danhausen's like, I want human monies, a spot in your next music video, more money, my name mentioned more, and then Liv's like, fuck this. So we get that. And we move on. Alright, they're getting a video for Seth saying he brought Braun Breaker into the division, tried to give him the world, but in turn, Braun took everything from him, including the King of the Ring. 6 months of his career that'll never get back, as well as the World Heavyweight title. Seth says there will be no more hiding, and he challenges Braun Breaker to a steel cage match, brother! Alright, any way to finish the feud? And we got that. Alright, then Anna Pearce is talking with the lassie bitch from Ireland, Lila Valkyria. As I gotta turn to NXT. She's happy with the decision that he made. Goes to tell Bayley, give me a hug, because I got a women's tag team title match next week against Brie Bella and Paige. We get that. And then Eli Drake. That's not an insult, that's a fact of life. Yeah, he comes in, asks if Pearce saw SmackDown. Pearce wonders if Eli is pissed off, you think? So Eli says the match went exactly as he thought it would. Solo is back in the Bloodline. No, he's not. Pearce says the referee's decision is final. And also, Solo is not in the Bloodline. So Eli asks, how do you know that? Well, okay, you're trying to be Andrade? How you know? How you know? How you know? How you know? I don't know. Ooh, Ms. Parker entering the parking lot looking great. Natty coming out of the elevator. Runs into Carmen Petrovic and Nikita Lyons. Damn, Carmen. Haven't seen her in a while, but she's always on Evolve. So I think we're going to start with that. And we got a special commentator tonight. Vic Joseph promised a special commentator, but we're not going to find out who it is yet. Maybe now, I don't know, but we saw the program brought to you by Progressive. You can save money on your car insurance. Alright, we're getting to a recap of last week where Evil Naruku defeated Mason Rook, the guy that can body slam your dad. So Evil will take on Tony D, my cousin, at the Great American Bash for the NXT World Title. And Kendall Gray beat Kaylani Jordan to become the #1 contender for Lorna Ice's NXT Women's title. That is going to happen at the Great American Bash, so we get a recap of that. How Cam Hendricks or Anthony Luke cost Mason Rook the match. Blah 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 blah. And we get that. So we're getting that. So we got a recap. So, anyway, so Eli is like, how do you know that Solo's not in the Bloodline? And then Eli's like, I'm going to go do things I'm going to go to the ring and do things my way. Well, I'm going to just do things my way. Okay, that's great. Alright, then we get a video from last week where Pentagon Zero Miedo defeated Rey Mysterio to retain the Intercontinental title, and then Ethan Page and Rusev attacked him. Rusev ripped off the mask, and then Chad Gable came down for the save. We get that. And then we get an interview with Chad and Jackie Redmond, and Chad's like, I'm gonna compete as myself for the first time in over a year. He talks about after losing his mask, gaining respect, he realized he needed to make amends, and he made amends last week by helping Rey Mysterio. And after the match against Rusev, he has to do some more. So he goes off, and then we see Maxine still talking to Austin Theory. I don't know what that was about. Are we on for tonight in the hotel room? What should I wear? I don't know. Because you know they're fucking. You know it. Cam Hendricks, you just lost your wife. So, fuck you, man. That's that. Alright, we still have NXT this week with the new NXT Women's North American Champion Delta as she beat Tatum Paxley to win the belt. So, it's her first week with the belt. So here she comes. Oh, looking in black, looking great. I think she's going to have a nice long reign with it. I do see Tatum maybe getting a rematch. Maybe at the Bash and maybe some stipulation match. I mean, we'll see. But Delta is here in black leather, looking great. Ugh. Put that tongue back in, woman, because I'll put it back in for you. That's all pretty much I got to say about that. So, I don't know what's going on with Theory and Maxine. I think Maxine's going to join the division. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We get that. Alright, after that, we find out about Sunday night's main event coming to Atlanta, GA, Bad Street, Atlanta, GA, in September. That's mid-September, I think. So we got that. Move on. Alright, then we go to Chad Gable and Alexander Rusev. Rusev smacks CJ Penny, pussy! Yeah! So he comes out with all ego. Ethan Page. Pretty good match. But in the end, Chad Gable gets the win after getting out of the Accolade and reversing that into an ankle slam, then the ankle lock, and then Rusev tapped out. So Chad Gable gets the win, and then after the match, Ethan Page comes in, 2-on-1 beatdown, and then Rey Mysterio, booyaka, booyaka, and Dragon Lee, they run in for the save. Ethan goes back in the ring. That was dumb. Because Dragon Lee kneed him in the face. Raiden boots him out of the ring. And then Rusev and Ethan have to retreat. And Ray and Dragon Lee pick Gable up to his feet. And they all pose in the ring. I'm like, oh, we're probably going to get a 6-man tag or some type of tag team match coming up out of this. And I don't give a shit. That's that. Alright, go to the back. Roman comes out. Yeah. I think Roman comes out of his dressing room. He talks to Lars! And then the Usos come up. Jimmy asks, what happened with that? What happened? Because we had a plan, which Jake was supposed to be told that he answers to them when Roman was out of town. Roman says, I called an audible, and we can't have infighting in the bloodline. We need to be united. And that's why, and he's like, why is LA Knight still running his mouth about me and the family? Maybe I should send Jacob instead of you two guys. So Jay's like, I want to get Eli, and Jimmy's like, no, I'll go talk to him. So Jimmy walks off, and he's gonna go talk to Eli. Okay, we get that. All right. Then we see Oba getting warmed up for his match with Dom, and then after that we get Braun Breaker saying Seth made an entire career off undermining and backstabbing everybody. That's true. Now he wants to play victim in this whole thing? Well, probably is. Who's coming out? Okay, Lonnie Jordan's coming out. After Delta talks some shit. It's like, I'm the greatest! Anyway. So Braun destroyed Seth's vision because he used deception to prey on other people around him for the glory of one man instead of the many men. Many men wish death upon me. Many, many men. You know, big ups to my boy 50 Cent. Anyway, Seth isn't a visionary. He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. And at Night of Champions, he'll be locked inside a steel cage with the most vicious and unbreakable superstar in all of WWE. And the thing about being locked in a cage with a dog is that the dog always makes it out. Eventually. So, it's gonna be brutal next Saturday afternoon. So that's official. We get that. Alright, then Eli comes out, cuts an amazing promo. Basically saying, I had to get to Baltimore to get home, I was offered to take the night off, but I had to get here because I had to get some stuff off my chest. He didn't return home as king or a champion, with or without the belt. It's still my game, and it's L.A. Knight, yeah! Stuff like that. So Eli says, I don't know how to give up, whether I'm fighting the Bloodline, the MFTs, or the Bloodline 2.0. I'm going to keep going. I didn't have a famous dad or a tribal chief. Then he talks about Roman manipulating Jacob, and says Friday went exactly as he said it would. And then he keeps running through the events of Friday night. Nobody gives a shit. Jimmy thankfully stops it, goes to the ring, tells Eli that things are different. Solo doesn't run with them anymore. He does what he wants. And then Eli says, well, Solo made sure Jay won the match to advance. Lie. Eli wants assurances that if he smashes Solo's head into the mat, they won't come looking for him. Jimmy gives him his word because Solo isn't back in the fold. And then he tells Eli, may the best man win. Like, Kendall Gray is here now, for some odd reason. Why is Kendall Gray and Kaylani here when Kendall has a title shot against Lola and Delta's in the ring? I don't get it. Is Kaylani going after Delta? What's going on here? I don't get it. Alright, so then Jay comes out, not happy. And then he says to Eli, says, let me talk to you. Okay, so that's a little knock to Eli. They told Eli over and over again Solo is on his own. And Jay needs Eli to accept that, but he's not out here for that. He wants an apology from Eli because he keeps running his mouth about the family. And Eli cuts him off and asks if he wants Jay to acknowledge his little tribal chief. Jay says, no, I'm better than you, and you know it. So Jay says, I beat your ass in the middle of the ring, and you need to acknowledge me. So Eli says, I remember Solo being out here, but I didn't see any of that coming. So Eli says, if I'm honest, it's a compelling offer. And then he's like, yeah, I'll acknowledge you, and you can pretty much go to hell, kiss my ass. So then there's a little fight. Jimmy steps in between. Jimmy's then tossed aside. Jay being a hothead. So so they fight. Jimmy's all pissed off. Here's Lola Vice, by the way. Look at that skirt. Oh, Poppy Priest tapping that sweet ass. Should have been me. I digress. So Jimmy's all pissed off. Super kick to Eli. Jay then grabs a steel chair. Jimmy stops him from doing anything. Jay shoves Jimmy again. Charges, but Eli cuts him off. He grabs the chair, hits Jimmy and Jay in the back. And then Jacob runs down. And then grabs Eli with the Tongan death grip before putting him out. Jacob leaves the ring with Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy's all pissed. Looks at Eli, and then he left. That was it. That was a segment. Then we get replays of that. And then we go backstage, and Jimmy and Jay are pacing. Jimmy's not happy that Jay got involved while he was talking to Eli. Jacob says, we tried it your way, and it was ass, so I had to do what had to be done. And then he leaves. I think Jimmy or Jay are going to be jealous and what's going on here? Oh, Robert Stone is here. Tag team match, player! Tag team match, player! Kaylani and Delta taking on Kendall Gray and Lola Vice. Yup, tag team match, player. We got that. Alright, now we got Tavion Heights, who's going to be taking on Jackson Drake. The winner of this match faces, I also call him Ozzy Osbourne. at the Bash for the men's North American title. So we see Jackson Drake with the Vanity Project, Brett Baylor, and Ricky Smokes, along with Micah Lockwood, Bailey Humphries. So we got that match coming up next. We got that. Alright, so the Bloodline is kind of pissed off with each other, except for Roman. But that's that. Alright, moving on. Alright, then we get the Charlotte Flair with Alexa Bliss. Miss Bliss takes on Roxanne Perez with Liv Morgan at ringside. This was an match. Getting to the end, and Charlotte fights back, goes for the figure four. Liv distracts the referee, Jessica Carr. Roxanne rakes the eyes, applies a cradle. Lexi turns it over for a near fall. And then Charlotte fought back, locks in the figure four, into the figure eight, and Roxanne tapped out. It sucks. So Charlotte gets the win, and we'll see what happens with her on Friday Night SmackDown as she takes on Liv Morgan to see who goes to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament to face Io and will lose. And that's pretty much it. Io's gonna win Queen of the Ring. Queen Io! My baby. She's a queen of the skies, but she'd be a queen of the bed, too. That's that. Alright, go backstage. Javon Evans, bouncy. We're going to hear from him. Just a minute. Alright, so we hear from him. He goes to the ring. Blah! You know, making that weird face he does. Jackie Redmond's in the ring to interview him. Biggest match of his career is yet to come against Jey Uso on Friday night. Javon says Jey has the experience, but I'll take a belt to his ass. And yeet him out of the tournament, and everyone will say that your boy is bouncy. So we get that. Then we hear the music of, well, this guy we haven't seen in a while, Logan Paul. He's humble, you know, coming off his bicep injury. Comes out with Austin Theory, and he says, "We're here for life-changing news. I'm here for Logan's here for Javon, and he's been watching Javon. Says he's a generational talent." And he basically wants Javon in the Vision. That ain't gonna work. He's a killer, you know. So he invites Javon into the Vision. Javon's like, yeah. Pretends to shake Logan's hand. Says, hell no. So Logan kind of grins and chuckles a little bit. Says, oh, I misphrased that. It wasn't an invitation. It was a mandate. You are in the Vision. Javon politely tells Logan to back up, or you're gonna leave Baltimore with no arms. Damn. So then Austin Theory says Javon has it confused. They're not asking him, they're telling him. So Javon's like, alright, you wanna fight? Let's go, let's fight. So he challenges Theory to a one-on-one match. We get a referee, and we get that. So Logan Paul's at ringside for this match, which was okay. Go through the barricade and everything. We get to the end. Evans runs around the ring, dives over the barricade to attack Theory. Then he gets Theory back in the ring, hits the red dot. Then he goes for the OG Guinea Kata! Bang! But then Braun Breaker spit him out of mid-air for disqualification. He killed him. His ribs went that way, over there, over there, over there, over there, over there. Pretty much everywhere. And then the Street Profits come out, Montez Ford, and the returning Angelo Dawkins. And then Braun Breaker and Austin Theory attack him as they get in the ring. Dawkins hits Theory with the silencer. And then the Street Profits double team Braun Breaker, knock him out of the ring. And then next week, we find out they get a tag team title shot against Braun Breaker and Austin Theory. Probably get new champs. Probably, but I doubt it. We'll see. Alright, then we see Roman. This is where I'm at. Roman leaves his locker room, talks to Jacob, and he says, Jimmy and Jay don't understand you, but I do. There's no stopping you, Jacob. And then he's like, go kill somebody for me. He says something in his ear. We don't know what it is. I think somebody said, go get Tama. So bring Tama Tonga back on Monday Night Raw. I don't know. Well, Tama's not doing anything except sucking Soul's dick, but that's, that's that. So basically, the MFTs are pretty much going bye-bye. And Solo will be by himself until Bronson Reed comes back. But I think Bronson Reed might be coming into the Bloodline. I mean, Jacob can bring in Bronson Reed, too. So we got that. That's that. Alright. We found out that Raw, this Monday, will be at 2 p.m. since it will be in London, England, and it's at 2 p.m. because they're gonna finish Raw at I believe 9:30 London time, and then they're gonna go to Saudi Arabia after that. So I think SmackDown might be tape delay for 2 weeks. Oh, not 2 weeks. That week. It's gonna be taped basically. If you have a VPN, it'll be at 8 o'clock. But well, you know what I mean. We'll get the tape delay from Saudi Arabia on next Friday, and then July 3rd is taped because they're taping that on the 29th, and then Raw will be at 6 p.m. because they're doing a double taping. So that's why. All right. So next week, Braun Breaker and Austin Theory will defend the World Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. Bayley and Lyra will challenge Brie and Paige for the Women's Tag Team titles. And that's next week on the program. And that's that. Alright, then we go to the main event. Semifinals of the Men's King of the Ring tournament. Winner will go on to the finals to face either Javon Evans or Jey Uso. So we got the Hula, who, the bringer of war, who, the mountain you cannot climb, who, the mountain you cannot conquer, who, the Hula, the Destroyer, who, Oba, who, Femi from Wakanda. Alright, so Oba comes out, takes on Dominic Guerrero, let's see. That's Eddie's son, comes out with JD McDumpfuck. And I'll tell you what, Eddie was going crazy. He was going berserk because Dom came this close to beating Oba after a distraction by JD McDumpfuck. Hits the 619. Oba kicked out at 1. And then after that, Oba just murdered Dom. I'm sorry, Eddie, but that's the way it is. And that's all I gotta say about that. So Oba hits Fall from Grace, 1, 2, 3. He goes to the finals, see if he faces Javon or Jay at Night of Champions. And then Oba cuts a promo, talking about Brock, saying, I was surprised you're not here, because I felt like you were gonna be here, to kind of screw me. And then basically, he says, we're 1-1, says his catchphrase, the mountain you cannot conquer, stuff like that. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, Brock, what are you going to be remembered for? And Oba's like, I am the king, and Leslie, and Brock, you will just be the man who ran away from me. And then that's it. That is pretty much it. So, we'll see what happens on Friday Night SmackDown and next week on the Go Home shows. I think Brock's going to come back Brock's coming back at Night of Champions, and that'll be it. And I think he's going to cost Oba the King of the Ring title. And then they're going to have that third match at SummerSlam. That's that. Alright, so overall, Raw, I thought it was pretty good. 6.5 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like Trick Woody would say, let's talk about it. And that's that. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to watch the rest of NXT. And I'll be back a little bit later with your Collision review over right here on the channel. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, peace.